Welcome to the Titan Tar channel. Today we have a topic to discuss about Russia closing the siege and Ukrainian soldiers abandoning the front in Kursk. Don't miss the chance to join us and share your opinions with us. Become a member of our channel and evolve your rank. The Russian army is seeking, in practical terms, a solution to neutralize Ukrainian attacks in the Kursk border region. The Ukrainians have focused their efforts on causing substantial damage to transportation infrastructure with a special focus on bridges. In response, the Russian armed forces have been deploying specialized equipment that allows for remote installation of mines in strategic areas. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, this strategy is aimed at preventing Ukrainians from maneuvering safely in the border region, receiving supplies efficiently, and withdrawing in an orderly manner. One of the Russian military personnel operating in the Kursk region said that the North Group is using Zemledeliye remote mine-laying systems. These systems were used to mine areas where Ukrainian forces are concentrated in the Sumy region, with the aim of blocking access to the Kursk border areas. In addition, these systems played a crucial role in containing Ukrainian forces in Mariupol. During the breakout from Mariupol, several units of a Ukrainian Marine Brigade came across mines previously laid by the Zemledeliye system, which complicated their withdrawal. The incursion into the Kursk region, promoted by Zelensky and coordinated by the Ukrainian military high command, is turning into a fiasco. The operation has created serious difficulties for the Ukrainian armed forces on other fronts. In an attempt to maintain a small bridgehead in the occupied part of the Russian region, Kiev continues to send more and more reserves to try to break through the Russian defenses. Russian media reports show captured Ukrainian soldiers walking dejectedly through a field near a forest plantation in the western Kursk region under escort. One report mentions that Ukrainian servicemen from the 80th, 82nd, and 154th Brigades, lacking supplies and no contact with their command, are changing their uniforms into civilian clothes, stealing cars from local residents, and trying to flee the region disguised as civilians. Local authorities have already registered reports of at least 40 vehicles being stolen from border settlements. The deputy chief of the main directorate of the Russian Guard, commenting on the Ukrainian invasion of the Kursk region, noted that if it were not Russian territory, it would be possible to plan and carry out a major operation to lure the enemy into a trap under the pretext of temporarily ceding part of the territory. Such an operation would have significant strategic value, since the enemy who invaded Russia would eventually become hostage to its own initiative. He acknowledged that, on the one hand, it is negative that the Russian army did not quickly reclaim the territory taken by the Ukrainians. However, on the other hand, the situation created by the Ukrainians themselves now forces them to hold this bridgehead, which is largely a political necessity, while consuming their already limited resources. The deputy chief also stressed that on the Donbass front, Ukrainian forces have difficulty holding their defensive positions, being saved from complete collapse only by the effectiveness of their military reconnaissance, the abundance of drones, and the strategic use of the terrain. Before the invasion of the Kursk region, Ukrainian units participating in the conflict received training in the UK, about a month before the fighting began on Russian territory. This information was reported by a British newspaper, suggesting that the UK not only trained Ukrainian troops, but was also involved in the planning and preparation of the invasion. One of the Ukrainian military personnel told reporters that one of the main phases of their training involved practicing attacks on skyscrapers. The Ukrainian armed forces soldiers trained alongside their British counterparts, with the training taking place in the UK. Although not all Ukrainian servicemen who participated in the Kursk region assault received such training, some of them underwent such training in Britain. One of the Ukrainian soldiers who was involved in the offensive in Russia sharply criticized the command and organization of the operation. He highlighted the lack of adequate medical transport to evacuate the wounded and expressed dissatisfaction with the quality of small arms supplied by the West, mentioning that assault rifles often jammed. Meanwhile, the Russian armed forces continue to repel attempts by Ukrainian forces to invade Russian territory, using mobile groups to prevent any significant advances. A new report from the Russian Ministry of Defense on the situation in the Kursk direction confirmed that the Ukrainians are trying to gather forces to compensate for the losses suffered and maintain offensive momentum. In response, Russian aviation, artillery, and missiles have attacked Ukrainian reserves, as well as ammunition and fuel depots in the Sumy region. According to a Russian Special Forces commander, The Russian armed forces have taken control of the situation in the Kursk region and are systematically destroying enemy units. However, the Ukrainians continue to search for gaps in the Russian defenses, trying to penetrate deeper into the territory, but are suffering heavy losses. The Russian general, commenting on the situation, reiterated that the situation is under control, with efforts to neutralize Ukrainian forces continuing. According to him, a lot of enemy equipment has been destroyed, and attempts to advance in other directions have been thwarted. Reports from the front line corroborate the general's claims, indicating that there have been no significant changes in the Kursk direction over the past 24 hours. Fighting continues in the same positions as before, and despite Ukrainian claims about the destruction of large numbers of Russian vehicles and personnel, these claims have been denied by the Russian military. Meanwhile, the United States has stated that the Ukrainian operation on Russian territory is an exclusive initiative of Kiev. In Germany, there have been complaints that Kiev is keeping Berlin in the dark by not saying whether the Ukrainian armed forces are using German weapons on Russian territory. Overall, the West's stance has remained unchanged since the beginning of the Ukrainian conflict, with Kiev's partners reiterating that they are not directly involved in the confrontation. During a recent interview, a Pentagon spokeswoman stressed that the department does not view the United States' lack of knowledge about the Ukrainian operation in Kursk as a failure of American intelligence. She also said that Kiev's secrecy in preparing for the offensive cannot be interpreted as a betrayal of Washington. Most experts, including Western ones, believe that American intelligence was aware of Kiev's preparations and possibly helped in carrying out the operation by providing crucial information, including satellite data. Meanwhile, the Russian armed forces have seized the initiative in several sectors of the front, despite there being no clear front line in the Kursk region. Reports indicate that Russian forces have regained control of a settlement in the Kornevsky district, located south of the regional center of Kornevo. It is worth remembering that the Ukrainians are transferring units of the 128th Mountain Assault Brigade to the border and to the Russian region, with the aim of holding the occupied territories in the Kursk region. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like the video, and share it with your friends. Your interactions mean a lot to us and help us grow. See you next time.